Hi Reddit, I'm Adam. I'm 34, no kids, decent business, and until recently I thought I had a wife. Turns out, I had a roommate who liked to party and thought I should thank her for it. Let me back up. I met Rachel 5 years ago. She was confident, social, attractive, and a little wild, but I liked that. I was more quiet, focused. She brought energy into my life. We moved fast, dated for 7 months, then got married. The first year was good. Really good, actually. We traveled, renovated a house together, started traditions like movie nights and weekend cooking. I was in love. I thought she was too. Years 2 and 3, things started to shift. Rachel started going out more. Girls' nights became regular. Then she started going on solo weekend retreats to clear her head. She said she felt caged and needed space. I gave it to her. I was busy with my company anyway. Small tech firm, finally getting traction. But then I noticed she didn't even pretend anymore. She'd come home at 3 a.m., hungover, wearing someone else's hoodie. Once I found a receipt from a bar 2 cities over. 2 drinks, hotel room. She said it was a mistake. I believed her. Yeah, I was that guy. Year 4 hit hard. She sat me down one Sunday and said she wanted to talk about the future. I thought she meant kids. A vacation. Maybe adoption. She said, I think we should try an open relationship. I laughed. Literally thought she was joking. She wasn't. I just think we've grown and we're not the same people. But I still love you. I don't want to leave you. I want freedom. And I want you to have it too. She made it sound so modern. So grown up. Like cheating would somehow fix us. I asked the only question that mattered. Are you already seeing someone? She hesitated. It's not serious. That told me everything. She tried to sell it hard. Said it would revive the marriage. That we'd be stronger, more honest. That it was just physical and doesn't mean anything. I told her no. She told me I was being close-minded. That's when I realized she wasn't asking. She was informing me. I didn't throw her out. I didn't scream. I just said, do what you want. So she did. The next weekend, she was in Miami with friends. I saw photos of her on Instagram, drinking champagne in a club, sitting on some guy's lap. She forgot to block her story from me. And while she was off saving the marriage with strangers, I was sitting in a barber chair, the same one I always went to, talking to someone I hadn't really seen until that moment. Her name was Mia. I've been going to the same barber shop for years. Nothing fancy, local place, clean cuts, solid music, no small talk unless you wanted it. Mia had been cutting my hair for maybe 2 of those years. Always professional, friendly, good at what she did. But that day, after Rachel's open relationship bomb, I saw Mia differently. Or maybe I just finally paid attention. She asked how I'd been. I told her not great. She didn't pry, just nodded and kept working. Rough week? She asked. Rough year. That made her laugh a little. It was the first real moment of ease I'd felt in weeks. She didn't ask for details. Just gave me the cleanest fade I'd had in months and said, next one's on the house if things don't get better. I came back 2 weeks later, paid full price, left a tip twice as big as usual. We talked more. Little things, music, food, places we'd traveled. She mentioned she used to teach art before switching to barbering. Said the pay was better, and she liked not dealing with spoiled parents. I told her about my company. She was actually interested, not in the gold digger way. She asked real questions, understood half my nerdy startup lingo, and made a joke about engineers being terrible flirts. She wasn't wrong. Meanwhile, Rachel was living her best life, at least according to Instagram. Vegas, Miami, LA, always with the girls, always clubbing, new outfits, new hair, no mention of a husband. I stopped checking her stories, but friends kept sending screenshots. She came home smelling like tequila and cologne. I didn't ask questions. She didn't offer answers. Once she said, you could be doing this too, you know? You're hot. Women would line up for you. I just nodded. I already had someone on my mind, and it wasn't her. One night, I stayed late at the barber shop. Mia was closing up. We were mid-conversation and just kept talking. She offered me tea, the weird herbal kind she liked. I accepted. We sat out back on the loading dock, drinking tea out of mismatched mugs, talking about childhood stories, worst dates, and why she hated astrology. It was calm. No drama. No performance. Just real. She didn't try to impress me. She didn't flirt, but when she looked at me, I felt seen, something Rachel hadn't done in over a year. That night, I went home and didn't care where Rachel was. Didn't care who she was with. Didn't check her location. She noticed. "You're quiet lately," she said. "Yeah. Are you seeing someone? Does it matter?" She paused, blinked. "Well, yeah, of course it matters." I just stared at her. "Why?" "You said this was supposed to save us." It was a Tuesday when Rachel asked if I was seeing someone. I didn't lie. I also didn't explain. She looked unsettled for the first time in months. The next few days, she changed. She cooked dinner. For the first time in over a year. Lit candles, made that one pasta dish she used to do back when we still sat at the table together. "Thought we could reconnect," she said. I didn't touch the food. "We good?" she asked. "We're fine." But we weren't. And she knew it. She started texting more. Checking in randomly. "Miss you. Hope you're okay. Want to go out this weekend? Just us." It was a joke. You don't get to disappear for months and then act like nothing happened because suddenly you're insecure. She even deleted some of her Instagram pics, the wild ones. Change her bio. Stop tagging bars and clubs. The Rachel rebrand had officially launched. Too late. Meanwhile, Mia and I were getting closer. Slowly, quietly. Still no kissing. No crossing lines. But I was texting her at night. She sent me random music. Funny memes. A photo of a crooked haircut with the caption, "Want me to fix this poor soul or nah?" I catch myself smiling at my phone. Something I hadn't done in years. One night, Rachel walked into my office while I was texting Mia. "Who's that?" "Someone who doesn't lie to me." She didn't like that. "Are you sleeping with her?" "No." "But you want to?" "Also no." That made her pause. She expected guilt. Maybe jealousy. "Then why are you pulling away from me?" "Because I already left. I just haven't packed yet." Her face went blank. "So what, you're done?" "You made your choice months ago. I'm just finally acting on it." She stormed out. Next morning, she tried something new. "I'll stop. I won't see anyone else. Let's close it back up. Just us. Like before." "You can't undo this." "Why not? People make mistakes. I didn't know it would push you away. You didn't care if it did." She stood there in her robe, holding a mug she hadn't used in years. Trying to play soft. Familiar. Domestic. "Adam, I don't want to lose you." "You already did." Rachel tried being sweet. Loving. Domestic. That lasted 4 days. Day 5, she changed tactics. "You've been distant for months. I've been trying to fix things. You're just checked out." I didn't respond. "If you want to throw away 4 years, fine. But don't blame me for walking away first." That part was funny. She walked away before she even told me she wanted open marriage. She just didn't expect me to walk too, in the opposite direction. The final push came that weekend. Mia invited me to a small art show she was helping with. One of her old students had work on display. She didn't call it a date. I didn't either, but it was one. I showed up. Clean shirt. Decent shoes. Nervous like it was high school again. She wore a dark green dress. Simple. No crazy makeup. No heels. Just her. And somehow that was enough. We walked. Talked. Laughed. At one point, she asked, "Are you really still married?" Technically. Emotionally. Not even close. She nodded. Didn't push. Just sipped her wine. Later, when we left, she touched my arm. Just for a second. But it was enough. That night, she texted me. That felt like something. I replied. It was. Next morning, Rachel found my shirt hanging over a chair. One I didn't usually wear. Her radar kicked in. "Where were you last night?" "Out. With her." "Yes." She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She smirked. "Hope she knows you're broke." I blinked. "What?" "I moved some things around. Just making sure you know what's in your joint accounts." I pulled up the banking app, $12,000 missing. Gone. I checked the transaction history. 3 transfers. All to her personal account. I confronted her. "You stole from me? We're married. It's not stealing. It's fraud." "No. It's leverage." She stood there like she just played the ultimate card. "I gave you everything. Years. My body. My time. You're not walking away clean, Adam. I won't let you." She wasn't trying to win me back anymore. She was trying to make me regret leaving. First call I made that morning was to my bank. Second, to my lawyer. Third, to Mia. Rachel had drained $12,000 out of her joint account. Claimed it was shared money. My lawyer disagreed. You can prove you deposited every dollar. She withdrew without your consent. That's not marital property. That's theft. He told me not to confront her again. Just document everything. He'd handle the rest. I forwarded him the screenshots, the transaction logs, and her exact quote. It's not stealing. It's leverage. He laughed, said, judges love that kind of arrogance in court. That night, Mia invited me over for dinner. She had candles lit, real food on plates, music playing low. Nothing flashy, just real. Rough day? She asked. Getting there. Talk or eat first. We ate. After, I told her everything, the money, the threats, the lawyer. She didn't flinch, didn't hesitate. You gonna let her scare you? She thinks I'm weak. She wouldn't be fighting this hard if you were. I looked at her, this woman who had no reason to care, no obligation to deal with my mess. And she was sitting there, unbothered, unfazed, and in it with me. Rachel never did that. Not once. 2 days later, Rachel got served. Legal notice. Civil case pending. Financial misconduct. She texted, "Really? After everything I gave you?" I replied, "That money was mine. You're not." She went quiet, but not for long. She started calling mutual friends, telling them I was cheating, that I'd emotionally abused her, that she'd been forced into an open marriage because I wasn't present. One of my friends sent me a voice note. "Bro, she's telling people you used her for sex and money. Let her. You're not going to respond?" No. She wanted a war. I wanted a clean exit. But if she kept dragging my name, I had more to expose than she did. Mia texted me later that week. "Just so you know, one of your wife's friends showed up at the shop. She asked about me. What did you say?" "Nothing. I just smiled and charged her full price." This woman, Rachel, was spiraling. I was rebuilding. And for the first time in a long time, I was starting to like who I was when she wasn't around. The divorce papers were delivered on a Wednesday. No warning. No conversation. I didn't know her either. She got them at noon. At 12:16 p.m., I got a text. "You're seriously doing this without talking to me first?" I didn't answer. At 12:19 p.m., "You're disgusting. I wasted 4 years on a coward." At 12:25, "You think she'll stay with you once she finds out what a cold, selfish prick you are?" Still didn't answer. At 12:27, "You don't even have the balls to say this to my face." At 2:43, she proved it. I was at Mia's place. We were cooking, laughing, music playing. Knock on the door. Mia went to open it, thinking it was a delivery. Rachel, wearing leggings, sunglasses, and a fake smile, holding her phone recording. "Is Adam here?" Mia didn't flinch. "Who's asking?" "His wife." "Ex-wife," Mia corrected, in progress. Rachel pushed forward. Mia stepped in her way. "You don't get to storm into people's homes because you're losing." Rachel rolled her eyes. "He's mine." "He was." I stepped into the hallway. "Rachel, go home." "No, we're talking." You deserve to leave." She pointed her phone at me. "This is who you left me for?" A nobody barber with attitude. Mia just raised her eyebrows and looked directly at the camera. "Hi, Internet. He's happier now. You can go." Rachel lost it. "You lied to me. You promised forever. You promised fidelity. We agreed. You suggested. I tolerated. I gave you freedom. You gave yourself permission to cheat. I gave myself permission to leave." She tried pushing past Mia again. Mia stepped forward, calm but firm. "Get out." Rachel stared at her, fuming. "He'll get bored of you." "Maybe," Mia shrugged. "But I won't beg him to stay while screwing someone else." Silence. Rachel left. Next day, she posted some cryptic story. When men can't handle strong women, they downgrade. 30 minutes later, 3 people unfollowed her, all mutual friends. One DM'd me. "She's melting down. You good?" "Better than ever." Later that week, Mia handed me a new key to my place. No pressure. I took it, not because I needed a new home, but because I was building a new life. It had been almost 2 weeks since the divorce papers hit. Rachel had gone quiet. No texts, no calls, no passive-aggressive quotes on Instagram. I thought maybe, finally, she got the message. I was wrong. One morning, I got a text at 6:03 a.m. "Call me. It's important." Then a follow-up. "I'm late. Like really late." Then, "I think I'm pregnant." No greeting, no explanation, just a trap. I didn't respond. An hour later, she tried calling. I let it ring. Then the messages started again. Don't ignore this, Adam. This is serious. I need to know what you want to do. You don't get to walk away now. She was trying to pull me back in, using fear, guilt, maybe even panic. But I'd seen this play before. It always ended the same. Her in control, me confused. Not this time. A message back. Send the test. No reply. I followed up. You want to talk? Prove it. Not playing games. 15 minutes later, she sent a blurry photo of a pregnancy test on a bathroom sink. It showed a faint second line. It wasn't time-stamped. No brand name. Could have been old, fake, or someone else's. I sent one sentence. Get a blood test. She exploded. How dare you question me? Because you lie. I'm trying to be honest now. Too late. Then the kicker. You don't care if it's yours? You were in Miami with other men. You figured out. That shut her down. Later that day, Mia and I were out getting groceries. I told her. She didn't flinch. You think she is? No. You worried if she is? Still no. Then let it burn. She said it like it was just a bad haircut. Easy fix. Rachel didn't message for 3 days. Then, false alarm. Don't worry about it. No apology. No ownership. Just a clean pivot like she hadn't tried to hijack my life again. I replied with one word. Block. And that was it. Mia and I were solid. I was rebuilding everything. My peace, my money, my home. Rachel? Still spiraling, just without an audience. Divorce court felt like a formality at this point. She was already out of my house. The money? Already frozen, lawyer handling it. My name? Already clear. Now it was just about closing the book. Rachel walked in like she was filming a Netflix drama. Tight black dress, hair curled, sunglasses inside. She sat down next to her attorney like she was grieving a funeral. To be fair, maybe she was. The judge asked basic questions first. Dates. Documents. Then it was her turn to speak. Her lawyer tried, painting her as emotionally neglected, financially isolated, and forced into alternative relationship structures. Rachel sniffled through the whole thing. I didn't cheat. We both agreed. He knew. He just stopped loving me. The judge nodded politely, then turned to my side. My lawyer stood up like he'd been waiting months for this. He presented transaction records showing her taking thousands from our account. Photos from her girls' trips, one she didn't know I still had. Her texts bragging about being free and finally living again. Screenshots of her fake pregnancy stunt. A list of names of people she'd lied to about me cheating. Then came the kicker. A signed witness statement from Mia, saying she was approached, harassed, and recorded by Rachel without consent. The judge raised his eyebrows. Rachel's lawyer tried to object. The judge waved him off. Do you deny sending these messages, Mrs. Hartley? She hesitated. I was emotional. That's not a denial. 15 minutes later, it was done. Final judgment. No spousal support. No claim to my business. Money she took had to be paid back. Her behavior deemed manipulative and retaliatory. The judge finished with, this marriage was damaged by dishonesty, not neglect. Mr. Harper is not obligated to financially support that damage. I didn't smile, didn't gloat, just nodded. Rachel didn't even look at me as she left. But I said something as she passed. You burned the bridge. I just made sure there's nothing left to rebuild. She stopped, turned. You'll regret this. Already did. That's why we're here. And that was the last time I ever saw her. The week after court felt like coming up for air. Paper signed. Accounts separated. My house, my business, my peace, all intact. Mia and I took a weekend trip. Just a cabin, no signal, good food, bad board games, and long, quiet mornings. No yelling, no manipulation, no drama. One night, sitting on the porch with coffee, she asked, You feel free yet? Not yet, but I feel done. That's a good start. Back home, I started making real changes. Painted the bedroom. Tossed every item that reminded me of Rachel. New dishes, new playlist. Even the dogs started acting calmer. It was like the house itself exhaled. I was finally moving on. Until Tuesday, 1:14 a.m. Buzz. Unknown number. I know you hate me. I don't blame you. But I miss you. I stared at the screen. New number, but I knew the typing style. The broken rhythm. The guilt bait. Rachel. Buzz. I'm not asking for anything. Just wanted you to know I'm not okay. No mention of the lies. No apology. No ownership. Just the usual. Feel bad for me. Buzz. I shouldn't have pushed you away. I know that now. Then, I see you and her. You look happy. She's lucky. I didn't reply. Next morning, I showed Mia the messages. She read them in silence. Then, do what you need to do. Just don't lie to me. I nodded. I don't want her back. I want her gone. I sent one text. I hope you find peace. But it won't be with me. Then blocked the number. Again. That weekend, Mia and I went out to dinner with friends. First time I'd done that in over a year. No tension. No fake smiles. No worrying if someone would say the wrong thing and trigger a fight later. I looked across the table at her, laughing at some dumb story, and realized I hadn't just survived a bad marriage. I'd outgrown it. 12 months. That's how long it had been since the divorce was finalized. 12 months since Rachel stood in court, lying through her teeth. 12 months since I blocked her number for the second and final time. A lot had changed. Mia and I were still together, still steady. She moved in 5 months ago. We weren't rushing anything. No, we have to get married to prove it stuff. Just real, quiet consistency. My business grew. I traveled. I smiled more. I slept better. I lived. Then, on a random Thursday night, I got a DM on Instagram from her sister. We hadn't talked since the wedding. She always liked me. Told Rachel more than once she was lucky. Message said, "Hey, this might be overstepping, but I just wanted you to know Rachel isn't doing well. She talks about you a lot." I didn't answer right away. She followed up, "I'm not asking you to reach out. I just thought you should hear it." Still no reply from me. Then the third one. She regrets everything. She just won't say it out loud. Not to you. I sat there for a minute, staring at the screen. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I wasn't even tempted. I just felt nothing. So I wrote one message. Tell her I wish her peace. But if she still thinks losing me was her worst mistake, she should know losing herself came first. And that was it. No follow-up. No more DMs. No more flashbacks. Just done. That weekend, Mia and I painted the office together. I put up shelves. She filled them with books and weird little pottery things she made in a local class. She looked around the room and said, "You good?" I smiled. "Yeah, I actually am. You know, people always talk about revenge. Blowing up someone's life. Exposing them. Making them suffer. But sometimes the best revenge is just becoming someone they can't reach anymore. No more yelling. No more texts. No more what if. Just silence. And a life they try to ruin, still standing. Stronger than ever. See you later.